Hello and welcome to Scots United, where I, Scott, and my team of Scots, who are also all me, bring you the latest in movies, television, and popular culture. We don't cover popular culture much. Are we going to talk about the fact that J-Lo got engaged to Alex Rodriguez, A-Rod? No, because I think they deserve each other, and I don't really much care. But we are going to talk about movies finally after several weeks of talking about television, so let's go to Scott and give you what we promised.
Hey Scott, so I just got out of seeing Us, the new film by Jordan Peele.
Ooh, so what do you think?
I gotta say, I don't know. Maybe I should process and then get back to you.
Okay. How about now?
So, let me say from the start, I'm a fan of David Lynch. Love Twin Peaks, huge Twin Peaks fan. I don't necessarily need a movie to make sense, you know. I don't need it to be linear. I don't mind things left open to interpretation. That's all good for me. However, I feel like that all hinges on whether the look of the movie, the style, the performances, or the messaging are so good that it balances out my need for those other things, for it to be linear or clarity or whatever. And so in this case, I don't know that happened. It's reasonably well performed. I think there's no one bad in it, and everyone's very committed.
Elizabeth Moss is in that, friend of the show. From the clips I've seen, it looks like she might need to be committed in that movie.
However, it's the practical notion of the construct of how this movie works and what's going on is bonkers and totally absurd. But again, I'd be okay with that if the messaging or the the thematics were really there's a message here, and I feel like it isn't so strong. Now I know there's all these hidden messages and symbols, so maybe if I watched it again or read an article, but I always feel like, should I have to read an article for someone to decipher? I mean, this isn't a Westworld, where Jesus, you always needed someone to go through it with a fine-tooth comb and explain to you what was happening if you wanted to try and keep everything straight. And similarly here, I just felt
Should I have to work this hard to make sense of this movie? That's not a good question you want to be asking yourself. Anything else you want to share?
Did it really reinvent the whole being attacked in your home and in the home invasion slasher part? No. Was the twist at the end really that remarkable? No, because I kind of predicted it. And I don't want to spoil it, but at the beginning, when they're showing the flashback, I was like, oh, well, this might have happened right here as this is happening, which would explain why she's not, and then at the end, it was like, oh, yeah, that was it. Okay. Not to say that I always predict the end of a movie, but in this case, I did. And so I also think the twist also makes it less clear how everything was connected, and I don't know. Does it really matter in the end? No. But does it matter, I think, to pull off this coming together into something more meaningful? I think yes. So I'm kind of on the side of this.
So a middling response from Scots United on Us. I know I can speak for the show and the team when I say we love Jordan Peele, we love Get Out. We have faith that there's even, more amazing stuff to come, but maybe not. I don't know. The reviews are really strong on Us, but when you read them, a lot of them that hinges on Lupita Nyong'o and how great she is, and I don't know, I felt like some of this just felt like a, theater exercise somewhat, but on film. Maybe it just didn't hit right. Maybe the fact that while we were watching it, a woman got a phone call and answered it, sitting directly behind us. That could have affected our reaction as well as the allergy headache that was pounding and slowly grew throughout the movie. That could all play into it. Or maybe it's just not as good as we wanted it to be, which is also probably true. Okay, so let's jump back into TV and go to Scott.
Hey Scott, we need to talk about The Tick, Season 2.
The Tick, I watched the cartoon when I was a teenager, loved it. I thought season 1 had a lot going for it. It was really charming. What do you think about season 2?
Let me be the first to say that it is just tremendous. It is so great.
Well, you're not actually the first. Another Scott has been raving about it since he finished watching it, hasn't left the couch, just keeps talking.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's fine.
We just left like a live feed webcam running. Let's just go to Scott and see what he has to say.
How they managed in 10 episodes of 22 minutes apiece to work in themes about identity and gender politics, on expectations of gender, on like good versus evil, and sort of like what heroism means. There's something certainly about the establishment versus sort of like the anti-establishment. All of that's in there, and this sort of also ever-present theme of like reaching out through love and connection through friendship, and how that will always overcome obstacles. I mean, it was like emotionally moving. I got like welled up and like sobbing a little bit a couple places because it was so well put together and so unexpected. I mean, I think we're pretty much in agreement.
Any actor you specifically wanted to shout out from the cast?
Alan Tudyk, he voiced the main droid in Rogue One, and now he's just doing another spectacular job on this show. Somehow they managed to create an emotionally compelling storyline about an artificial intelligence program in a boat who is dealing with his own identity and sexual orientation. And it was totally sweet and genuine.
And what about the cast all around?
The way they managed to deepen all the main characters' arcs, and that's a in-joke there, arc, because Joan of Arc, electricity, powers, you'll see if you watch, which you should, because the Tick, Arthur, his sister Dot, Overkill, Miss Lint, I mean, even the Arthur and Dot's parents, there's multiple characters that all got to go further, show more of the characterization, and really deepen their character in really interesting and kind of confounding ways. Only confounding in that this is a silly comedy that's built to be just sort of weird and absurd and a spoof on comic books, but yet it is so much more. I have to say, too, the humor just kills me. Like, I love that there are clear, obvious jokes and then subtle, sly jokes and play on words jokes that, like, you can miss some stuff, and I'm sure some people do. There was a joke that was a reference to the Cider House rules, because the character played by Michael Caine in that movie calls the orphan boys you kings of Maine, and the Tick calls these Maine lobstermen who are thugs in the show you dinks of Maine, and I just bust out laughing, and it may not be funny to you, but it was super funny to me, because I'm like, it's funny, and I don't know who is actually going to get it besides a few of us who know movies and their references really well.
Scott United does love a good reference. I mean, we're Gilmore Girls fans from way back. So, The Tick, watch season 1 to get acquainted with the characters, and then watch season 2 to see some really impressive, incredible television.
Agreed. Just spectacular.
And now for something completely different. Yes, a blue heron. I'd never seen one before. Clearly, Margot had never seen one before either. And yes, it's Sunday. Here we are. Game of Thrones is coming back. Talk about popular culture. Talk about the biggest show in the whole wide world. It's back. It's on tonight. I think we can't help but give some reactions a week from now for our next episode. So, do we want to see Jon and Arya reunited? Yes. Do we want to see White Walkers bearing down on Winterfell? Yes. We only got 6 episodes. Each one's like a little mini movie. I'm excited. You're excited. So let's just close this up and get ready to watch. Get yourself together. Get your toys. Get your, wool. Get your fur, fake fur, cloak. Whoever you want to emulate character-wise. Just get ready because winter is coming. Have a great week.